Hey everybody, welcome back to Escape Reality Star Wars Talk. It's been a couple weeks.
Yep.
So in case y'all forgot who I am, I'm Caleb.
I'm Seth. I talk Star Wars with this man.
Yeah.
I'm glad we've sorted that intro out.
Yeah, because it's been a minute.
Yeah.
You know, they might have forgot us.
Yeah.
We almost forgot how. No, not really.
No.
We were good. We had to take a break though for our own mental health, and we're pre-recording today, and we'll be pre-recording for the next few months.
Yeah.
As I'm working on a project for somebody.
He's busy with something he wants to do.
And it's earning me money.
That
I'm
too.
actually getting paid for it.
Yep.
So I can't complain. Outside of that, fun things. We'll kind of just make it quick.
Yep.
We were deciding whether or not we wanted to talk about what we've been up to in the past couple weeks. I started playing Blood Bowl, the third game, because there are 3 video game adaptations of this thing. I think a 4th one is on the way.
Oh man.
It's essentially literal fantasy football.
Mm.
It's a Warhammer board game that's been adapted to video game form, and it's football in the Warhammer setting, and so very violent. You get to knock people out. I created a orc team called the Bama Bruisers. I may have taken a little bit of inspiration from a certain college football team in the state of Alabama, with the logo and the colors. And I don't even know if you noticed that part of it when I posted it in the Discord.
No, I didn't.
But now that I say it,
I saw it on the phone. I was like, that makes sense.
But now that I've said it, do you see it now? Like, hold on,
I was working at the time, so I probably couldn't have looked at
giving it a good look.
Yeah.
Let me pull her up, and I might post something here for y'all if I feel like it. That's if I feel like it's the key part here. Actually, y'all should join the Discord if y'all want to see all the fun stuff. You know what? That's a better way to. That's how we promote the Discord.
Mm-hmm. Check it out.
Now you see it with the checkers look. Although I think there should be black in there, right, to be accurate. I can't remember. Or is that just his hat? That's just Bear Bryant's hat, huh?
Fuck.
Classic coach of that team. Well known for his checkered fedora hat. Okay.
I don't know.
Football fans out there get that. I'm not a big football guy either.
You've either made so many people happy or so many people violently angry.
No, you've made people angry for not knowing.
No, it's just that I don't think he works for that team.
Not anymore. He's dead.
Well, I guess he won't be working for any team then.
He's classic coach. OG. Yeah, he's like an OG. Yeah, he died in like 83. Like, he's an old school coach, but he's like very famous for coaching that team. Alabama, Roll Tide.
You can figure out things with Celtic.
I think with Bear Bryant, it's enough information for the football fans out there. For those who aren't,
fans
we're kind of just leaving them off the loop. So there, you're in the loop now. He's a classic football coach for that team, and so like his
Warhammer stuff that I know about is weird because I know enough to know I don't want to deal with it.
I think it's an interesting setting, but it's also like a very it's very similar to the Star Wars fandom in that there are very toxic people in that fandom who don't understand that Warhammer is not saying that the characters in that universe are good people. In fact, it is saying they are bad people.
Explicitly bad.
They are explicitly bad, and Warhammer as a setting is trying to explain that, but also certain people don't get that. Our buddy JD likes Warhammer though, but he's he's a good guy though, so he's not one of those guys. He understands. He's like, yeah, no, these are not people to look up to. But their armor's cool.
Yeah.
That's about it. It's like liking the Brotherhood of Steel's ideology versus thinking that they aesthetically look cool.
While they have some solid points, sometimes how that interacts with the day-to-day is not good.
Yeah.
there's a time to bend rules.
Also, the idea that only they deserve technology, that's not great. But yeah, which that's the other thing. I just watched the first episode of the show. I'm liking it. I think you will like it. We'll have to talk. That might have to be an episode all of its own where we just talk about Fallout.
It's just Seth screams about Fallout for like an hour.
Either way, if you end up hating it, it will be an entertaining stream.
Oh, yeah.
If you like it, it'll
slightly Laura. Fuck that.
If you like it, it'll be interesting. If you hate it, it'll be interesting. Either way, I feel like that will just make a good video because we know how much you love Fallout on the show. So
well established.
Well established. It is part of the Seth lore of this podcast. His Bethesda and Obsidian games. But yeah, so like that's what I've been up to, and you mentioned that you've been just playing some AI dungeon.
Some AI dungeon. It's been a while, and I learned something about myself.
Yeah. You hate AI?
No.
First off, fuck AI. I mean, yes, but also no.
Yes and no for certain reasons. In this instance, I learned, in terms of like games, I have a tendency to accrue power by any means at the start. And then be like, alright, now that I've done that, time for me to go and just start helping people around town, because I can actually do things now.
To be fair, AI Dungeon is very much like, you can just say, hey, give me this, and AI Dungeon's like, okay. it's
usually for
it's
like
the nicest DM ever.
Usually for like the first 7 or 8 inputs, I won't do anything just to see what happens.
Yeah, but AI Dungeon, you can bully it into giving you stuff. You're just like, hey, I have this thing, and AI Dungeon's like, was it in your inventory? Yeah. Okay. It's the DM who does not know what's in your inventory.
I didn't do that.
No, but you know what I'm talking about, though.
There was one instance where it was like, alright, I chose like the noir setting, and they were like, you have a badge and a gun, and I'm like, okay, cool, I guess.
That's what I'm working with.
That's what I'm working with. And towards the end, I'm like explaining to this hiker that I'm like, hey, you know where you were hanging out is like a known place where people get murdered. And he goes, no. I'm like, I shouldn't have saved you from that bear. I should have let you die, but I didn't. So now you're here. Go home. And I'm like, do you know anything else? And he's like, well, there's some like, I guess bandits in the woods. I'm like, alright, I'll go deal with that then. Maybe they know something. I get there, I try listening to them, and they spot me. To which one of them immediately charges me. So I'm like, alright, I'll just shoot them and ask anybody else if they want to go down today. And that's apparently like, you know what, on second thought, we give up. Wizard one was fun. Yeah. I feel kind of bad for one of the enemies because I, like, almost completely took away, like, all of his magic. I'm like, don't do this shit again, or next time it's gone forever.
I also restarted...
But I didn't kill anybody.
There we go. PlayStation about to make me spend a bunch of money because they're doing their spring sale. And I've gotten so many alerts of games on my wish list being for sale.
Yeah. They're like... $20 off.
Like I have the PlayStation app on my phone, so it's just going, this game on your wish list is on sale. This game on your wish list is on sale. And I'm just like, at first I was like, what's going on? Why are all these games on sale? And then I looked, and apparently they're doing their spring sale. Speaking of Noir, Call of Cthulhu's on sale. It's like $5 right now.
Oh,
that's a.
You should play it.
That is almost like a... And I can play it for free anyways, because I pay for PlayStation Plus Essential, which comes with classic games and a few other games, kind of similar to, like, the Game Pass for Xbox. And Call of Cthulhu is one of the games on that free thing, but I that's also how I'm playing Blood Bowl, actually, is that it's one of the games that's free right now on there. So I was like... I've always wanted to try Blood Bowl, and it's something that I've always considered as a D&D idea, as, like...
Yeah, we talked about it a while ago, and I was like, I imagine, like, Chris, Drew, and Steve would actually really enjoy, like, the actual game itself. I'm like, I don't know what I'd do. I guess I'd manage the team or some shit.
Yeah, because we talked about doing essentially a actual fantasy football campaign where they build the team, and just like you would for real life fantasy football, where you build your team, select your players who you think's gonna win. But then we play the game, like they coach the games and stuff, and so that would have been I just haven't figured out the mechanics of that, and also I'm running way too many games right now, so that's not happening right yet. And so, yeah, and then the other thing I've been doing is I've been reading more books again. I don't know if you remember.
You a nerd? he says the other book reader in our friend group.
Maybe.
Continue, though.
But yeah, remember that book I reviewed a while back, Murder at Evram Hall? Yeah. So that guy is about to release his third book, which I did get access to from NetGalley, because the publishers, Storm Publishing, who publishes those books, really loves sending me free books after I did that review. And so they just go, hey, this book's coming out, and most of the books I like, although a lot of the ones they've sent me lean more towards family drama, and with some leaning towards mystery, and like I like some of that, but it's not entirely my cup of tea. It's not the reason I started reading their books. Because Murder at Evram Hall was more of a cozy murder mystery.
Yeah.
So, you know, that Agatha Christie style, the Murder, She Wrote type of vibe, right? And that's the stuff, I like that. I like a good cozy mystery where I am also trying to solve it while reading, right? And so, I'm now catching up. I'm reading the second one on my own, and I'm probably going to do a review of it after I finish it. But then I'm going to immediately start the third one as soon as I do that, because the third one's not coming out for a minute, so I've got time before I have to read that one. So, second one's already out, so I'm just going to read it and then do a review anyways, just so I can review all of them. Because I do like Marius Quinn, which is the main character. I'm going to go a little bit side tangent to talk about the books. It's about a guy named Marius Quinn, and he's like, it takes place in England. It's 1928, so it's after World War One. We're not quite full in Depression era yet.
You've got like about a year,
and so
give or take a month or two.
He was one of the people who went to war during World War One, so he's got some of that trauma. But he's also now a mystery author. I wonder why I like the character. He's an author. I wonder why. I wonder why these books are written. He started off as a side character in a different series of books from Benedict Brown, the author. But now he's got his own series that he's got going on. I need to read the original series, but for now I'm liking the Marius stuff. And basically this idea is him and his ex-childhood love interest, who he's no longer with because he did not propose to her before he went to he never made it official. He was just like, in fact, he broke it off before going to war.
Just in case I die, we're done. Which is a fair response.
But also it's unfortunate because now he's got all this regret that he didn't, stay with her.
Fucking survived the Battle of the Somme, but didn't ask her out. Fuck.
Because now she's with somebody who's kind of become his rival in the book, but they are doing the little detective stuff on their own. Because the first book is about him struggling to write his second book, and so she invites him to a dinner party over in Evram Hall, where he ends up getting caught up in a murder mystery because this Hollywood actor is killed.
Ah, damn, another dead starlet. Oh, well. Sorry, it's just one of those like really old plots.
But it's supposed to be like that
because it's the 1920s.
Yeah, it's the Roaring 20s.
Yeah.
So it's that roaring. You got the late Roaring 20s, but it's still.
Hey, Gatsby's still alive? Nope.
But you still feel feel that aesthetic to it, and so I like that aesthetic as a setting for murder mysteries because it's it's an interesting setting, and so. The first book is set in this mansion, and so him and her are trying to solve it because they're the only two who are nowhere near where the guy died, so they could confirm we didn't do it. So now we just gotta figure out who did.
By process of elimination.
And so she's kind of she's the emotional intellect of the group, so she's able to talk to people and
Hey, don't shake down this child.
So she's the one who's able to like convince people to talk and open up more, whereas he's the one that's like, with his knowledge from writing murder mysteries, he's like piecing the puzzle together of like, how did this happen? Like, how would I write this if it were like, how would I write this crime and how would I make that happen? And that's kind of their what makes them a team.
The dynamic.
Yeah, because otherwise, why would you need both of them? Right?
Yeah.
So you got to be able to have something that they each bring. And so the second book is them going back to their hometown and solving. It's not a murder yet, but one of their old friends is getting death. Two of their old friends are getting death threats, and so they're on their official outing now as a group. Marius and Co. Or no, Quinn and Co. They went with his last name, Quinn and Co. As the name for their little company, because Lady Isabel, she's a lady, because her dad's the Duke of the town. Marius comes from a poorer family who served them, but as is fitting to this genre, like it's this genre, like that's just part of it.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, I don't know what the family like dynamic, because like,
well, currently her.
No, I was thinking.
Oh,
like,
his
because. Traditionally, like, before you go and you ask someone, you would ask their parents.
Yeah.
I was like, well, this either could have went two ways. Either the parents would have approved, or the dad or mom are like, I don't want you to associate with that slow.
No, they were kind of good with I can't remember if they were talking about eloping or not. It's been a minute since I've read the first book. But, yeah, like, they were on good terms, though, with... In fact, she's taking care of her dad because the Duke is ill. Her mom's dead already, so she's kind of the caretaker. And then his dad died of mysterious circumstances. We don't know what happened to his dad, which is why he's wary about going back to the hometown for that.
He's like, all of her parents keep dying.
So he's not sure what's going on. So he doesn't want to go back for that reason, as well as, like, he never went back home after the war.
Oh.
So it's like... He's not sure how certain people will react to him now coming back in his 20s.
Hey, man, it's been a couple of years.
When he went to war and when he was 18, like as soon as he turned 18, he was out. He, in fact, did not finish schooling. That's something we learned in the second book is he gets there and the teacher's like, his old teacher's like, you need to go back to school.
And he's like, sorry, I was busy.
I was busy defending the continent.
Some jackass got shot in the head, and everyone fought over it.
But no, but he realizes to play along, and he's like, yeah, I'll think about it. Like, he almost is like, I should tell her that my second book just won a bunch of prizes, and that I'm like a well-established author. And he's like, that's not the person I normally am. That's not who I should be now.
I could. But I'm not gonna.
Because Marius is an interesting character. He's definitely got some vanity to him. He definitely looks down on certain people. So he looks down on Gilbert, who is Lady Isabella's new boyfriend.
Yeah.
And so he looks down on him a bit, but that's more because of the rivalry for Isabella. And so I like, though, his family. Like, you're learning more about his family dynamic too, because he lives with his family. Like, he paid for their apartment. And everything, so they live together, and so along with their dog, and the dog went along for the first adventure. That was fun. Dog's along for this one because now the whole family came along because they were like, we all kind of want to go back home. We all haven't been home in a minute.
Pay a visit.
And like they still have their house in the old town. Like they didn't sell it. It's just they don't live there.
Yeah.
Because that's how older families used to operate. Like you traditionally, like you had your hometown, and then you. And so they were like, let's all go together, and we'll make it a family trip there, and we'll stay out of your way while you're investigating. And he's like, that's fine, because I was offered to stay in Lady Isabella's house.
So, yeah, that works.
Yeah, and of course, they're doing the oohs and ahs because they're teasing him, but also because they know about how that relationship worked. But also they're like, maybe she's not good for you. Cause, like, there's a mixture of that where it's like, maybe she's not good for you. Maybe you should move on.
Maybe your blood is too blue for you, son.
But so yeah, like it's a whole. I love the dynamics of all the characters in this series. So I'm definitely enjoying reading the second book finally, and I'm excited to get to the third one because it's my type of. Because I like Agatha Christie stuff, so it makes sense that this jump for me because I like Murder on the Orient Express. I like Death on the Nile. That type of stuff. And then Murder, She Wrote is classic, cozy murder mystery stuff. So this is right at home for me. But yeah, that was my tangent.
Mhm.
Let's get into our topics today.
I guess we're gonna
jump,
bang bang bang.
Yeah, we're gonna bang through the news. There's 3 pieces that I really want to talk about. A lot has happened through the 2 weeks, but not a lot. Not a lot that I really wanted to highlight. There was a lot of production stuff where people were added onto teams, so we know for sure. What was it? Dawn of the Jedi movie is still happening because they added a new writer to help with James Mangold, because James Mangold is the one directing it and co-writing it now. The guy who did Logan, in case you need context.
Okay.
So that feels like the right guy for this. We know that the Daisy Ridley film's still happening. We don't know if John Boyega's going on board or not, because people ask Daisy and she's like, "I'm not in charge. I don't know."
As somebody who knows.
She said specifically it's above her pay grade, is what she said. So yeah, she's the actor. It's not really her. She might know if he's in once he's in, but she's not part of the discussions of that. But as for the news I do want to talk about specifically and go kind of into more detail on, Mandalorian Grogu film. We know that's being filmed or in production at the moment. Whether that's means it's filming or not, we know it's happening. Confirmed release date, May 22nd of 2026. All this is through Star Wars Newsnet, who got it through through CinemaCon and Disney, and it's part because CinemaCon happened on April 11th apparently, and so we got a few release dates for things. There's another, so let's see. In terms of Star Wars news, there's another one planned for December. So, and that, my guess would be because what do we know is in production? I think we knew that's in production. We know the Dawn of the Jedi film's in production. Well, it's still being written because they just added a co-writer. I think the one that's further along, if I remember correctly, is the New Jedi Order, the Daisy Ridley one, right? I think we talked about that. I think that's before. I think that's the one that's the next furthest along in terms of production for movies for Star Wars. So that's probably the one in December. That's still enough time, even if because I think writing is either probably almost done or near enough. And then we got a few non-Star Wars films for 2026. That was, but yeah, they said untitled Far Far Away film, so that there is another untitled Far Far Away title scheduled for December. Yeah. Right. So that would be, so my guess is probably the New Jedi Order film, if I was to take a shot in the dark, unless there's something else going on that we don't know about. In fact, I'm reading the article. I think that's Star Wars Newsnet's guess as well. As mentioned there, this is quoting them, there is another Star Wars movie scheduled for December 18th of that year, which will mark the 11th anniversary of the day of the release of The Force Awakens. The current thought is that this is going to be taken by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's New Jedi Order, but it's yet to be confirmed. So yeah, So I think everybody's kind of in agreement that New Jedi Order film is probably the one that's going to take the December spot.
Oh, cool. We got Lateef Crowder as a stunt double.
Oh, where am I? Oh, yeah, Lateef. Yeah, which that's who they've had for the show because it's been him and Brendan Wayne since the start. Because you got one because Brendan Wayne is the gunslinger part of. It takes 3 men to make the Mandalorian. It takes 3 men to make 1 man. It's Pedro Pascal brings the acting, and then of course you got your stunt double. So you got Brendan Wayne, who's the more gunslinger, because that's what he was raised with. His dad is John Wayne. So
wonder who he's related to.
So so Brendan Wayne is the gun side, and then Lateef Crowder is more the martial arts side.
That's why I know him. I've seen him work before, and he does a good job.
So it takes 3 men to make a Din Djarin.
3 men to make 1 Din Djarin.
which is fair because I mean,
Yeah.
on a film set, you need particular set of skills for each thing, and it's good that they're providing a lot of work for stunt doubles.
Hmm.
Giancarlo Esposito is lobbying to come back, of course, but that unlikely considering what we saw happen. But he could have survived that. He could have survived that because there is no body. No body means it could happen because we don't see the body after.
You know what they'll do?
They'll clone him.
Well, yeah, they actually already.
I mean, they already have.
They have.
Like
Maybe
he was
he
cloning
missed one with a shutdown sequence.
That'd be
I've come back for revenge, didn't Sean? From beyond the grave.
And,
Like, bro, we've done this.
and a lot of people are, of course, expecting Katie Sackhoff to return, but there's no guarantee of that. With her returning as Bo-Katan would be the hope. And so, let's see. Yeah, according to the Star Wars Newsnet, we'll most likely see a first look at Celebrate, or at least we'll get a look at it at Celebration in Japan next year. Which, yeah, that times out about right, because that gives it about a year. And so that would probably be the soonest we'd get a look at it. So, and then, of course, we still don't know much about New Jedi Order. Other than Daisy Ridley's in it and who's directing it. Apparently they plan to shoot it either later this year or early 2025. So, yeah, that would still give them time to have that December release date. Because, that's the other thing I was thinking about is, like, when did they start production?
How would that work?
Like, because you have to have a certain amount of...
Time-wise?
Yeah, like, you have to have a certain amount of time of filming, and then you have to have a certain time of post-production where you're editing and doing the color correction and maybe some reshoots and ADR and all that gets involved. And so, yeah, they would need the time for all that. But, yeah. Speaking of shows, though, and movies and all that...
I didn't watch the trailer for this one.
Yeah,
so
you did not, because you didn't know this one was coming out.
Yeah.
Because I didn't post that in the Discord. I posted about Outlaws, which we'll talk about, but our first one that we're going to talk about is actually Tales of the Empire, which is our continuation of the Tales of the Jedi sort of idea, where they do some shorts, and so we'll take a look at that together. Oh, hold on. Let me fix the audio. Thought I had it. Okay.
Why do you
So
seek imperial favor?
we get Thrawn in the Clone Wars art style. We haven't seen Thrawn in the Clone Wars art style
My people were all but
because Rebels art style is a little different, a little more
my
circular
gives me strength.
and curved, whereas
It is that strength I offer the Empire.
Offer
I like that look actually. But the Rebels look is more angular.
I'm here to
So
present you with an opportunity, Barris.
and there's Barris.
Just be glad you're not a Jedi anymore.
Knows best.
And while it looks like she was part of a different Night Sisters clan, it looks like she still knows about the Dathomir stuff, which is going to be
mercy only breeds
interesting. Grand Inquisitor comeback.
defeat, but I will help you overcome this weakness. Attack.
You said the Empire would help to change things.
Everything comes at a cost.
Yeah, see, she was apparently there at the Dathomir
Since I was a child,
when Grievous killed all the Dathomirians,
what has begun?
which is interesting. Considering who was in charge of that.
Must face one final test. To join us.
And so there's some theories about what one of her final, like he says that this is her final test, but
Time you meet your new master.
of course we gotta have Vader. Oh, and that guy's still alive, which means it takes place before the Tales of the Jedi Ahsoka episode, where his head goes like a bullet, like a football. So,
I was just thinking about the fact that Vader,
but yeah, it's Star
Vader
Wars
is
Day.
Anakin, and he's like, oh man, can't fucking wait to piece you up again for what you did to Ahsoka.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. So there's a lot going on. So it's coming
Like-
out Star Wars Day. So we
Okay.
more than likely they're gonna give all the episodes. So whenever that, I'm gonna have to put it on the schedule for the show. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So we'll probably watch all the episodes. People are thinking it's just 2, but I'm gonna, because like they haven't confirmed how many episodes, but or if there's other characters that they'll examine. But I think it's gonna follow the Tales of the Jedi system, which is 2 characters, 6 or 8 shorts, right? Because that's what they did. Yeah, 8, because it was 4 each. So 2 characters, 8 shorts, and we'll probably get 4 of each, is what I think. And we'll, like the Ahsoka one, it'll go, or like the Tales of the Jedi one, it'll go chronologically. So we'll watch them kind of happen. Yeah, they were chronological. Yeah. So
Right.
so we'll watch them that way is what I think is going to happen. And then, so interesting stuff to talk about just from this trailer. Barriss and Vader meeting. Is she going to immediately recognize Vader from his presence in the Force? And if so, what's going to happen? Who's going to kick whose ass? A lot of people are theorizing that it's going to be Barriss who also kills Luminara. Because we know Luminara is dead by the time of Rebels, because they use her body as a...
Oh yeah.
They use her body as a little way to trick Jedi into...
bait.
As bait, yeah, thinking she's alive to go save her. And so, people are wondering if that's going to be one of her tests, is it that she's got to kill her old master. And so that would be... It would be messed up, but it would fit the Inquisitors, like, because we've seen how they're training.
Yeah.
We've seen the way they train. It's not...
It's not good.
Yeah. Especially with the Red Blade novel. So we've had...
A little intense.
We've had some firsthand, secondhand for us, but we've seen firsthand how it goes down. Regarding Morgan Elsbeth, I'm interested to see how she separates the idea that Grievous killed the Night Sisters from the fact that she's now working for the people that Grievous worked for, who gave that order, by the way, because Palpatine gave that order. It's just because we've seen how other characters have gotten, like, because that's the journey that why did I just forget her name? Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh, Marin.
Marin. That's the journey Marin goes on. Is how did she get over this trauma, and she's still not entirely over, because it's trauma. It's not something you can just, oh, I'm done. No, trauma's you carry that, especially that, like your entire people gone. So I'm curious how she's gonna, because Marin takes it and goes, I'm gonna use this as fuel for vengeance for my people against the Empire, because the Empire are basically the continuation of what Grievous and those people represent. Whereas it seems Elsbeth is letting it fuel her, but not to go after the people who caused it. But maybe she falls for some lies, and that's why she... Because we saw Marin also... Marin believed it was the Jedi because blue and green lightsabers. But she was also much younger when it happened, whereas Elsbeth looks... Maybe... If I was being generous, she's in her teens. If I was being generous. So maybe she could still be tricked, because, she's still young. But I'm being generous. I think she's an adult when it happens, but I'm going to be generous and say maybe she's a teen when it happens. Whereas we know Marin was a child. Marin was a child when it happened, so that's why what's his name was able to lie to her and say...
Taron.
Yeah, Taron Malicus was able to go, it's the Jedi!
Old man.
It was the Jedi. It's like, Taron, you were an ex-Jedi. Shut up. Shut up. I kicked your ass. In Grandmaster difficulty.
Wait until the third game when Cal runs across another former Jedi who's like, this is bullshit. What the fuck?
He does seem to keep running into them.
Yeah. At this point.
God, I'm scared. I'm scared when the third game comes out, because I know I'm going to have to do a Grandmaster run of 2. and I'm gonna have to fight Bode and Grandmaster.
Yeah. Bode's like, Bode's just fucking Call of Duty screen waiting for the rematch.
That fight, and then I think the fight with the alien, the one that's like Dirge.
Oh boy, that's
gonna be the rough. Those are gonna be the roughest fights. I'm surprisingly not scared of the other I'm not scared of Dagon, surprisingly. Dagon, I think, might be a little bit easier than them. I think he's going to be tough, but I think compared to those two fights, those are going to... Yeah. Speaking of video games, because I think that was a nice transition.
Yeah.
Speaking of video games, we got a trailer for one that we have been excited for, and it's coming out much sooner than I expected, honestly.
I want to play it.
It's Peggy 16.
Represent some of the most powerful criminal organizations.
Are you old enough?
Yeah.
Yeah. Peggy 16. So it's gonna be T. I think that's T in ESRB system. Which makes sense. We haven't really had a rated M Star Wars game.
It's an opportunity.
Fucking wish.
We don't need one, but it would be cool to have one. I actually like K so far.
What do you want?
I'm still all about the idea that he's Kyle Katarn, like he's the canon Kyle Katarn. The guy hiring K.
This job, it's a death wish.
Wait,
I'm in.
wait, maybe I'm wrong about when it takes place.
Out here, you live and die by your reputation.
Because I forgot that that's there.
You want to survive? Know the players.
You're new to this world. Come back when you're not.
Daba, right? Look, don't try anything.
So let's see, we got the Pikes, the Huts.
King was tipping that for about as long as I can remember. It's just been.
I like Nyx.
Go, little axolotl, go.
Yeah.
Have to.
I love Nyx so. Oh, look at him go.
Fucking stealth takedowns.
My one shot at.
Get ready.
Use your axolotl to take people down.
Yeah.
We need the right crew.
I also.
just gonna
Wait,
yank-
wait.
We need the right crew.
Is that
Just fucking-
000? Is that 000?
Right ship.
It might be. I do like the technician.
I do like this part. It's funny. You were gonna say though.
I do like how the technician just goes, don't need this.
Yeah. Yoink.
Because you were one of the best hunters in the Outer Rim.
And then we got a bounty hunter coming after them.
More connected than you let on, Selena. Vess is mixed up in something bigger. The Outer Rim is a dangerous place. Everyone is fighting for their piece of the galaxy. But all I want is to live free. So I'm gonna risk it all. Hold on, Nick!
Was that a Sarlacc pit she was openly jumping into? By the way.
Pre-order available now.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. Oh, I went too far. Okay.
Like it?
Well,
Maybe.
no, that is a Sarlacc
Yeah.
pit. That's a Sarlacc pit.
Alright, fuck it. Man, you have to have some rough options.
Yeah. But, okay, so we saw most of it. It's coming out of August 30th. Yeah, and we saw Kira's in it. Because they showed, like, that round table of... And they're like, Crimson Dawn, and you're like, man, if they said Awake the Dawn...
They say await the dawn, I'd fucking lose my mind.
I still think the guy hiring her is Kyle Katarn. Like, the man is just wearing Kyle's clothes. If he's not Kyle... Like, a lot of people are theorizing that he is Kyle Katarn as a rebel spy hiring her to kind of disrupt the criminal cartels. Which would be fitting.
Alright.
That would be a fitting thing that the rebels would absolutely do.
Yeah.
It also looks like it's... Originally, I thought it was closer to episode 4, but it does look like it's during that war, post-war of the bounty hunters, Crimson Rain
Mm-hmm.
section of time because we see the Han and Carbonite. Because I missed that the first time. So one of the things
Mm-hmm.
we got to talk about,
Yes.
because we were talking about it in the car, pricing, because people are mad, and I get it to a degree. I don't entirely agree with every part of the discussion regarding it, but I do agree. So, where's the pre-orders? Okay, pre-order. One, I'm mad that there's no physical copy yet,
Yeah.
because when you go to their website, all you see is the digitals. I've even gone to Amazon to double check. No physicals out there for pre-order. Which is the only reason why I haven't pre-ordered yet. Is I'm waiting. Now, standard edition is $70. People are already mad about that because we're used to a $60 price tag, but we're starting to get to where games are just going to cost $70. That's just... They've been $60 for 2 decades, about, give or take. A price change was inevitable. Am I happy about it? No. Am I gonna be angry about it? No.
No.
Now where the arguments really come in is the Gold and Ultimate Editions. So Gold Edition is you get the 3 days early access, and then you get the Season Pass. That's probably the more likely one I'm gonna get. That's $110. Then there's the Ultimate Edition, which is one I'm considering. And it comes with some extra bundles and the digital art book. That's $130. I might not get it just because I don't care about digital art books. I like having physical art books. And it's like, if this was a physical pre-order, yeah, that'd be worth something to me. But and also part of the discussion is that used to be stuff that came with the base copy of games. Like, back in the day. Like, people are showing, like, I'm on Reddit a lot, so I specifically for Baldur's Gate and D&D stuff. And so Baldur's Gate 1, people are showing off, hey, I found my old box of Baldur's Gate 1. And they're showing, like, the maps that came in it, and the you have your books, your manual, your instruction manuals.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Did they send coffee beans for the map?
No. This is also, though, before people realized what was used for the in-game roads. But this is also, like, actual map of, like, the map of the region where the game takes place, as well as a map of the Baldur's Gate city. And, like, this is cool stuff that came with the base copy for 20 to $30 back then. That was the full price you paid for that game, and it came with all this already. Whereas now we pay extra to get that stuff. And I do get the frustration with that. I do. It does suck. Now, another discussion that's being had is, why a season pass? Because that's what it's always been called when you get the DLC paid ahead. I think people are People are starting to think that this game's going to be a live service game because of that term. Because live service games have kind of taken that term and made it their thing. Although they usually use, not season pass, but they use, usually it's, what's it called when you buy the I forget now. Anyways, season pass has kind of taken a name for it because it's like, oh, we live service games do things in seasons. So like you'll pay for the pass, unlock your little thing that you get, and whenever you get experience, you earn rewards, right? And so people are like misunderstanding that this is a DLC. This is a pass to get all the DLC that's included in that pass ahead of time for a cheaper bundle price. Essentially, you're paying a bundle price for all the DLC before it comes out. Whereas if you wait till it comes out, you have to buy them individually, right? For more expensive. And we already know that it is actually story stuff. Like, we're getting an extra Jabba storyline. And then, like... actually, only one of them is. That's upsetting, actually. But the other one is cosmetics, which is kind of... I would be more upset if this was a multiplayer game with pay-to-win aspects. Because this isn't pay-to-win. because I think when we talk about DLC, there's a lot of topics that encompasses, and I would say that this type of DLC is more expansiony and less money grabby, right? Because when I say that, I mean I appreciate a game that has DLC that's more expansion and story content and stuff that's especially single player games. Single player games that should be. There's only really been one single player game that tried to do a pay to win mechanic, did not go well for it. Shadows of War did not go well for it. People did not buy it, and then so they had to patch that out, or at least make it to where it was easier to do the grind, and therefore you were even less incentivized to buy it. Because people noticed the grind was dumb hard because the game was trying to get you to buy it. Every other game, DLC tends to be either clothing or expansion-y, actual story content. So like Witcher 3. That's expansion content where it's story. And that's the type of stuff I like. And that tends to be the Ubisoft route, who are the ones making this game. Ubisoft very much goes we make a game that also has story content that comes out later. Now, where it can be a little bit money grabby is the conversation of, is this content that they just took out of the game ahead and like they wrote the game initially with that content in mind, took that content out, and then tried to sell it for an extra buck? Or is it stuff that they came up with during the process and we're like, well, we're already mostly through making this game. We're not going to be able to have this added to the game in time for this game to come out when it's supposed to, because publishers decide when games come out ahead of time, and so they have a certain deadline. And so on the giving a good faith argument, a developer will come up with expansion content near the end of the cycle of development of the base game and be like, oh, here's a cool idea of something we should add in the game, and they'll be like, yeah, but we don't have time, so we'll add it later. And in fact, we can now, even because we're adding it later, we can build up on that idea even more and make it usually maybe a third the size of the base game is what a good expansion is, right? And or in the case of Ubisoft, a lot of times almost as big as the game itself, like, because I mean that's what happened with Far Cry 3 with their expansion. Far Cry 5 even had a pretty big one where they just made it because they showed a alternate ending where like, oh, what if the apocalypse thing did happen? And because you're trying to prevent it in Far Cry 5, you're trying to stop the cult's prediction of the apocalypse, sort of.
Damn.
Yeah. And so, of course, it's a man-made apocalypse because cults. I don't think 6 has had a DLC yet, because 6 is still pretty recent.
I'm trying to remember.
That's the one with Giancarlo.
Okay, I do remember Ethan like back when he was right when it first came out. I remember playing through a mission of that. For me, the hardest part wasn't actually like going and liberating like the facility. It was just getting there. I died twice because I fell off a cliff.
Like, and some people have even argued that Primal is essentially DLC. I mean, even though it was a base game that released on its own, but it does use a lot of the maps that 4 used because it came out after, it came out after 4. So it uses a lot of the same maps design, but they, like, you can see, like, if you put a side by side, you can be like, oh, that's pretty much the same map.
And this is that.
Yeah. And so, like, but it's still, like, they put a lot of new assets in. They did put, they put a lot of effort into it because they even talked to a linguist to come up with a language that would fit the time for when the game takes place in the early man, near Neanderthal age, right? And so, like, and I like Primal. I'll defend Primal. It's a good game. But, yeah, Ubisoft does this. This is just, now I think they are more of the bad faith argument where I think they do strip things, because how do you plan it for every single one of your games? Because every single one of their games has had this type of thing. Because even the Assassin's Creed games have DLC like this, where they're like, oh yeah, we're going to add some story DLC. It's like, every single one of your games is just going to come up with a story DLC?
Yes.
You are really pulling, like, you must be cutting things from the game. Although some of them are creative where I don't think it makes sense for it to be in the game. Like Assassin's Creed 3, the King George
Yeah.
one. That
like,
there's nowhere to
how about
put that. There's nowhere to put that in the game that
Like,
would make sense.
How about some alternate history real quick?
Like, you can't just put that in the main storyline. I get why that
Oh,
one.
Goddard. He's
Yeah.
so fucking sassy, but he doesn't use words for it.
Yeah.
Like during the Tea Party mission, he just fucking dunks it in, and he like looks at the guard.
I will
like,
also defend
what you
3.
gonna do?
I will also defend 3. I think
Yeah.
3 gets a bad rap. I also think 1 needs more love though, because like 1 is literally the only one that you can't play on PlayStation 5. You can literally play 2 onward. Because Ubisoft has their Ubisoft Plus thing, right? Which is another way you can play
Yep.
Outlaw.
I'm also like, I'm gonna
yeah.
shut up about Assassin's Creed.
But yeah, like, because like, on PlayStation as part of the Essentials thing, they have all the games that are on Ubisoft Plus, and there's no Assassin's Creed 1.
Damn.
Literally every Assassin's Creed game, even I think Mirage is not on there yet, but like up to Valhalla, which is the most recent before Mirage, like 2 onward is on there, and I'm like, has nobody thought to put 1 on here? I know 1 is very different from like the rest of the games, but like it's the granddaddy of all of them. And Altair is a good main character. Everybody ignores this man. It's all about Ezio this and Ezio that. No.
That Italian motherfucker.
Once Ezio came on the scene, everybody said, Altair who? Which I get it. Ezio is a good main character as well. He is the Assassin's Creed 2 series, because it's a series on its own. Because that man had 3 games. Not including the Nintendo DS game. Because he also had a Nintendo DS game.
It's crazy how both, like, Altair and
Ezio got portable games?
No, I was going to say how both of their stories are essentially a comeback tour.
Yeah. Because Altair also got a portable game. His was on the PSP, though. The cooler system. Once again, proving my point, this man is underrated. No, but the two games, like, so 2 Brotherhood and Revelations, are the Final Fantasy VII of the Assassin's Creed universe. And I love Final Fantasy VIII. So Altair is my squall in this argument. And everybody thinks Cloud is so cool. And like, yeah, he's kind of cool. But really, if we're going to talk about cool characters in that universe, Zack is way cooler than Cloud. I don't have an Assassin's Creed 1 for that one. I don't have a character in Assassin's Creed 2 that's cooler than Ezio. But Leonardo da Vinci, okay? How about that?
Fuck you and your tank, Da Vinci. Thanks for the coat pistol, but fuck your tank.
At least Altair wasn't jumping on roofs looking for feathers.
Like, the best part
I get that because it's a sad story actually once you get like,
yeah.
But like,
you know what the best part about it is? Like, when you go and you get all the feathers, your mom's like, here's a nice little coat, Ezio, and you can't go around wearing it because everyone immediately is like, oh, you're an auditory bastard. We're gonna kill you.
Yeah, but yeah. That was my Ubisoft rant.
All right.
Put Assassin's Creed 1 onto PlayStation Essentials. Sony and Ubisoft, get on it. You can make that stuff backwards compatible. I know you can. There's PlayStation 3 games on the PlayStation Essentials, and Assassin's Creed 1 is a PlayStation 3 game, so I know it can get on there. Okay.
Yeah, that's right, Desk. You know what you did.
Yeah. I elbowed it. Good. All right, let's get into our main topics today finally, because we're already almost an hour in. Spoiler warnings for 2 things.
Yep.
We are talking about the final Tales of Enlightenment short story that came in the hardcover, Missing Pieces,
Mm.
And then the one-shot comic, Crash Landing, for the High Republic Adventures. We are going to... So I lied, because I told the audience I think we were going to do Living Force, but that book did not come out in time for that to work on the schedule, because I thought it was, and then I looked at the schedule again, I was like, no, that's not going to be enough time to read that.
Yeah. I think working out the math, it was like 3 or 4 days, maybe.
Yeah, because I think it came out on the 9th.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and actually it would have been even less because we pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been 2 days, including today.
Oh, boy.
Well, no,
Jeez.
3 days including today. 2 days if you started, like, right on the 9th. But yeah, but we're going to start with the Tales of Enlightenment because we're going to do chronological order, even though we had planned for this one, and this one was kind of a last minute, oh yeah, we should talk about that. So, Missing Pieces. Part of Phase 2. It's 5 years after most of the events of Phase 2 have happened.
Mm-hmm.
We go back to the Enlightenment. We see Pirali and Muna. Muna is happy. She's married. They've adopted some kids with Erda.
Yeah.
And then Pirali's kind of still working on his goals of life.
Pirali is still there.
Pirali is the guy who says he's going to do that thing. Like, he's got that big dream, but everybody kind of knows it's not going to happen.
Yeah. Like, the entire point of the dream is that it's not possible.
Yeah, that it's like, oh, I got something to work for, but it's...
Yeah.
And if I keep working for it, cool, it keeps me busy, and it makes me not think about the rest of my life, is kind of what we learn.
Yeah.
And that, in the case of that, it's to finish his yacht and then explore the galaxy with it. His Celestin 3 Celestin
Point is, it's
Legacy
a fancy
3 yacht.
ship.
Yeah, it's a fancy yacht ship. I think it's Celestin 3 Legacy, I think is what they say. Without opening the book. That, I think, if I remember correctly. And so he's missing, like, the main core to get it running. And it's like 1 million credits to get it.
Yeah, it's 2 million credits.
And so, which of course everybody in the bar is like, excuse me?
They're like, fuck you mean 2 million credits?
And so...
And he's like, he's discussing this with Muna, and he's like, that's... The point, he's like, I know it was essentially, like we said earlier, a dream. It's never gonna happen. It's not the point.
And to make it even sadder, only one man understood that, and he's dead.
And,
Keth Sarapath, our buddy. But about this time, a Jedi shows up into the Enlightenment tap bar.
One Rupert Natani.
Who got a new hairstyle.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of characters get new hairstyles in the stuff we're reading.
It may be telling that my first thought was, oh good, she's alive.
Yeah. I mean, but she also, like, she wasn't really in too much danger where we left her off in Phase 2. But yeah, so she is following in Salandra's footsteps, going to Jeddah for her own little pilgrimage.
Because that's what Jedi do.
And from what I've been seeing of stuff in the mainline High Republic comic, we're going to get some more flashbacks to Phase 2.
Okay.
We're going to get to see more of some of our friends from the mainline comic at some point. So that's stuff to look forward to when we talk about the mainline comic for Phase 3. Because I like the Jeddah and the Enlightenment setting a lot. It's a really fun setting.
Kraden's doing whatever Kraden does.
He's talking to a...
Kraden's buying secrets.
Yeah, he's buying
secrets. That's what
secrets.
Kraden does.
But yeah, so Rupert shows up with PZ. Or P3. Sorry, I was thinking of another droid. P3. Because they were asking, they were like, how... Oh, no, P3 doesn't show up yet. Because first she tells a story. Because they ask how P3 is, and she's like, oh, he's, keeping in trouble like he normally does. And so she talks about this story where, because they love hearing stories from Jedi. She tells this story about one of her more recent missions of how they took down this, I think it was a weapons...
Yeah, it's a weapons dealer.
Yeah. And so the plan was to kind of cut him off from a ship and capture him before he could even get to the ship. Did not go to plan, and instead P3 managed to get the ship to not work.
Yep.
So they managed to catch him because he was in the ship trying to get it to take off. And they were like, well, we got you.
Yep, you're under arrest.
And so they tell that story. She tells that story to them. And they're like, oh, yeah, P3 not listening to orders. That fits.
Checks out.
Yeah. And so they talk about it a little bit. And then P3 shows up. Muna's very happy to see P3.
Yeah.
Because it's, I mean, in a weird way, while they hate they don't hate.
They don't hate
They
P3.
dislike P3 because he's annoying. But
It's not his fault.
Yeah. So while they have this dislike of P3 from annoyance, they still love him. And I think it's also part of it is that it's the last thing of Keth.
Yeah.
It's kind of this last piece of reminder to them. And so P3 shows up and hands a core to, well, doesn't hand a core to
His,
he
central
opens his
processor.
he opens his chest piece essentially and is like, hey, reach in there.
Yeah. Also, important to note, P3 is not usually allowed in the bar.
Yeah, but I think
in order to
I think
avoid
in the-
religious arguments, because he's got a whole thing.
But I think in this case, since it's been so long and
Everyone's
kind
like,
of like,
it's
we'll
fine,
give him a
we'll
pass.
ignore the rule.
We'll give him a pass on this one. He's essentially family.
Yeah.
And yeah, so Pirali reaches in, finds the core he needed for the yacht.
Yeah.
It turns out that the guy they took down drove the same exact type of vehicle.
Yep. And Rupert's like, well, technically, I'm not supposed to give you this.
Technically,
to
I'm not
you,
supposed to steal these things, but P3 took it.
But
and-
P3 took it, and I think it would be better off in your hands, so I'm just gonna not file the paperwork.
I'm just not looking at this happening.
Rupert's like, anyhow, I'm gonna step out and get a coffee real quick.
And so it's a sweet tender moment.
Yeah.
Where Pirali kind of acknowledges that P3 is family as well.
Yeah.
And he really appreciates this because, one, he finally gets to go through with his dream. But two, it's from somebody, like, it shows that P3 also cared. And so, like, having this is a reminder of Keth in a way because it's that same kindness that Keth showed people. And that's where the tears well up and...
They did my boy dirty! Look at how they massacred our boy!
And so, and that is something actually that's brought up earlier is that Salandra never forgets what Keth did for her. Because Rupert mentions that and is like, yeah, nobody will ever forget Keth. I do think it's interesting that they let Rupert sit in Keth's seat. Because at the end of the previous story that we talked about for this, they left that seat open. They didn't let anybody sit in that seat once he died.
Yeah.
So I think
after a while, like...
Well, it's been 5 years.
It's been 5 years.
I still don't think they let... I would imagine they still didn't let anybody sit in that seat.
Yeah, but eventually I think people come to, like, realize that at the end of the day, a chair is a chair.
I think this is the first time they let somebody sit in that seat.
I thought they let Salandra
Oh
use
yeah,
it
they
last
did
time.
let Salandra. Yeah, you're right. So second time since we've been in the Enlightenment. I doubt they let anybody else.
Anybody else? They just swing on them immediately. They don't.
Well,
no,
I
they
think
don't
it's
because it's the.
I think it's
Enlightenment.
yeah. They don't get to fight because that's how you get kicked out.
That's how you leave.
Permanently. But I think it's a very reserved seat for very specific individuals that like that I think Pirali and Muna have to have that respect for the same way they did for Keth.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good. I think, so that's my thoughts on it. I think that Salandra and Rupert are like the exceptions to the rule.
Yeah, to the rule.
Of you just don't sit if Muna and Pirali are here, don't sit in that chair.
Yep.
I think if they're not there, obviously the table's a table, but once they're there, then it's their table, and so that's their chairs to decide who sits there. But yeah, I liked going back to the Enlightenment.
Yeah,
I said, I like Jeddah. I like the Enlightenment, and this was a tender.
Yeah, This is a nice bookend to me for Phase 2.
Yeah, this was kind of the piece we needed for that until just to go back into the shit.
Yeah.
Which let's go ahead and do that. Let's
Alright.
go into Crash Landing.
Fucking love Rue's vibe throughout this entire thing.
I actually like seeing, because it's nice seeing Rue also and being able to visualize that. Rue is much taller than I was expecting, by the way. Because we talked about Rue when we talked about the, where is it? Tales of Light and Life. But Rue is on the cover for this one. It's that one right there on the end. And so it is nice seeing them and getting to kind of visualize some of these characters, because like you read about them and you're like, what do they look like? Like you can only imagine so much, and so being able to visualize it with it. Same thing with seeing the rest of the crew. It's been a minute. It's a lot smaller, but that kind of just seems to be that just seems to be the way things are going. But we're following them as they are trying to deal with the last of the Nihil that caused everything to go down the way it did on Corellia. Because Crash still has this vendetta. And in fact, it's getting worse because she's starting to have some bad dreams that are tied to it. And it's stressing her out enough that everybody in the crew notices it. They're like, hey, you good?
You alright?
You getting the sleep you need? And Crash just takes coffee and is like, yep.
Yep, all good. The caffeine patch.
And so, they jump this last... So, we start with them jumping this last Nihil. That's, like, one of the last ones on their list.
Yep.
And Rue kind of jumps the gun and kind of is attacking them before the rest of the crew was ready.
Yeah.
And so, they managed to mess up this Nihil and get a name out of them before killing them.
The best thing, I think, was my reaction to him, like, revealing...
Oh, was that you revealing that name when you typed that in the Discord?
Oh, no, that was for...
After you read it?
After I read it. At the time... I'll wait until you finish drinking.
Okay.
Sorry. When he is like... Crick's Camerat's the one responsible for, like...
Camerat, yeah.
The invasion... The incursion into Corellia. My initial reaction was, bullshit. Crix is not that capable.
No, we knew Crix was involved with that.
Yeah, but
Midnight to Horizon.
Yeah, but I don't think he was like a mastermind for it.
He might have been. I think he was. I don't think they were lying. I don't think they were lying about that. Because I think he was in charge of that op, and so. Yeah, I think he was in charge of that. I think Crix though is so full of shit though. Because I
didn't believe it because I've seen Crix and I'm like, he wouldn't have thought this through.
The Delulu on Crix is so real.
I'm like,
we're gonna get into how delusional this man is.
I'll say this: Crash is a better person than I am because I would have not dealt with that.
He would have got with. I imagine with you it would have been that scene in The Dark Knight where he's interrogating Joker and you're just going into the table.
I'm like, I came here to do a job, man. Bang.
Bye.
I'm like, well, at least Crash was like, I'll let him explain.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Des.
No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
I have to be careful because
there's wires all around
big
us.
Feet and there's a bunch of wires, and while he knows what they do, I don't.
But yeah, like so they decide, okay, we got to break into a Republic prison.
Yeah, and Crash goes to like their local politician man.
Oh yeah, the whoever's their like governor of Corellia or whatever.
Yeah.
Who, I get the idea he's getting some money from the Nihil. Which also Crash gets that idea too. Crash is like, we can't kill him because then we'll get somebody even more publicly for the Nihil.
Because Rue's like, what if we just fucked him up right now?
Which Rue scares that man, by the way, because he was like, what is the guy with the freaky eyes doing here?
It's like, hey, he's not allowed in my office.
I'm like, Rue's allowed anywhere.
Who doesn't care? He'll go where he wants.
And so and so they get some information that it's in a Republic facility, but they don't have much more information than that, and they're like, okay, we need to figure out who this Crix person is. So they go to the two characters who are supposed to know about him, and one of them I understand why they don't.
Yeah.
I don't know why the other doesn't.
Yeah.
Because so they go to meet Zine and Lula, and they basically go to like a cantina where karaoke night's essentially going on, and I think in the background our non-Jedi investigator is in the background on the piano during that scene. I'm gonna open this up because I got I got a print copy of the comic, and I want to pull her up because I think I saw her in the background, the one that helps Emmerich during the investigation in Phase 1. Oh, Mr. Delulu.
Yep. Oh shit! Yeah, that's her.
Yeah. There she is. Yeah. So like, she's in the background. She doesn't do anything in this comic, but I recognized her because I was
like, I'm gonna play this.
I mean, she did that. She did singing and that type of stuff in that comic, anyways, when she was undercover. So I'm not surprised. But it was a cute little cameo that I'm like, oh, I see what you did there.
You know, I'll admit, something that surprised me while reading this is I didn't think that Lula would react the way that she did.
Well, yeah, okay. So they interview Zine and Lula about what happened and trying to figure out who Crix is. Neither of them remember him. Now.
With Zine, it's
Zine,
because
it makes sense.
To hell with that guy.
Well, Lula's is the one that makes most sense to me. Lula was in the crash with him from the space station. So I imagine some head trauma there probably happened. Because remember, last time we saw Lula, she was fighting Crix on the falling Starlight Beacon. You forgot about that, didn't you?
A lot has happened, okay?
Because that was the free comic book day, Star Wars Adventure, High Republic Adventures. Because remember, they fought each other, and because they were in the core, and we were like, "What are y'all doing here?"
What is this? The place where everyone goes to
Because then
fight?
it happened again in Young Jedi Adventures.
Drinker get fought near there too.
Yeah, and so, I think she probably got some head injury. Like, I think Lula got an actual head injury from what happened. Zine doesn't read as, I'm mad at him, so I'm forgetting him. Zine also looks legitimately like she does not remember him.
That's not...
Like, that's the facial expressions I see.
That is not how I read that. Zine is like, I don't want to fucking talk about that guy.
I'm gonna get it back out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the book back out. Gonna make me pull it back out.
Yeah. Fucking... This is an open book test. Like...
Looks like Lula suddenly starts to remember,
Lula,
but she starts to remember specifically the
out.
falling. She doesn't specifically remember Crix. She remembers what I mentioned, that she mentions the... See, she has like a face of confusion. That's a confusion face. That's not a mad face.
That looks like a...
To
me, that's an odd... How dare you ask me this
No,
question?
that's a who. That's an actual legitimate who.
I don't know if it's just because the art style is...
We'll let the audience...
Yeah, because I'm not
Audience,
sure.
comment down below who you think is right in this.
Because
or DJO if you happen to be...
Because this is why. It's that line of dialogue there. It's that I don't want to talk about that person I knew. I don't know what Lula...
Except she immediately follows that up with, never heard of that guy, do whatever you want. Which tells me she actually doesn't know who that is.
No, but that's the thing you say about people you don't want to care about.
I think she legitimately doesn't know. Lula also legitimately did. Like, Lula definitely doesn't know.
Definitely doesn't know. And I think Lula has some mental problems going on
from the crash.
Everything going sideways. Because, like, Jedi on big nameless, big problem, big Starlight.
I will say, we are reading this without the context of the mainline High Republic Adventures comic.
We don't have that.
So that's not helping us. There's probably some mainline stuff that
would explain.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
Yeah.
We wait till the trade paperbacks come out for those. And since this is a one-shot, no trade paperback for it, obviously. So, anyways, she gets the most information she can out of them, which is nothing, essentially, in that, okay, I can go pull the trigger.
Yeah.
So, she goes, and they do a break-in. It's her and Rue, and basically Rue splits off to keep an eye out on things, while Crash goes to confront Crix. And basically the plan is Zine will help give the getaway once the murder's done. And they Rue will give the getaway once the murder's done. And the rest like everybody else is on like ship ready to like take off as soon as they get back in it. Right?
They were on a timer.
They're on a timer because they are breaking into a Republic facility.
They have 1 hour.
They're breaking into somewhere that they shouldn't in order to do something they definitely shouldn't. So they go to do that, and it falls to hell in a different way.
Yeah.
Usually when things fall to hell, it's because you got busted. Here, it's because everything's going to plan.
Everything goes to plan until, like...
Crix is just reading a book.
Yeah. I'm like...
And he's like, oh, you're finally here. And we're like, wait, what? Apparently, this man has been writing letters to, like, the Republic intelligence, like, the FBI of
he's just,
the CIA, the CIA of the Republic.
An open address to the CIA.
I am willing to become a double agent.
Yeah,
is what he's essentially sending them.
And I'm like,
and he's like,
what?
He's like, I have close personal connection to Markion, and I would be a great asset in any attempt to murder him. Which, he's not completely delusional in that. That's not where his delusion is.
Like,
because he is right. He was extremely close to Markion. Markion did treat him almost like a son. Now, Markion probably didn't think of him that way, but he did treat him like one. Because he did give him his helmet. Like, that's not a lie. But, like, I think Crix is taking it to the next level where he's like, he thought of me as his own. Like, I was next in line of being No, you weren't. No, you weren't.
No, that's not how Lanai work.
You and Markion were close, but you're overthinking it. And then the rest of his delusion is, and then when I kill him, I'm going to get married to my childhood love, which is not happening because that's Zine.
Yep.
And then he's like, and I'm going to become where the real Delulu was, and that was where I put in the Discord, Crix's Delulu is when he was like, I'm going to be Supreme Chancellor. And I'm just like, buddy.
I think it was like after reading that where I'm like, okay, we gotta get rid of this guy now.
Like, Crix is like, I'm an underdog. Crix is how certain people get elected. I don't think I have to say names. If you live in America, you know.
Like, Crix, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Crix is gonna make the Republic great again.
You know what the funniest...
You know I'm right.
No. You know what the funniest bit about his delusional rambling is?
Yeah.
He doesn't understand that, like, if he does kill Markion,
that information would never become public.
One, that's not going to become public. Two, he fails to realize that the OZ probably won't like him very much for that.
Yeah, but the worlds in the OZ would. It's specifically like, I think it would be like specifically only the Nihil that would be pissed at him still, and it's like, Is that gonna matter once Markion's dead? I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Is Markion the one holding the Nihil together? Who knows?
Who knows? He doesn't care.
Like, he's not, like, we've talked about this. Markion's on that, I've conquered what I wanted. I'm bored. Markion's in his bored arc.
Like,
He's like, I've done most of what I want.
Markion, I need something to do, but, like...
I want to kill more Jedi,
I want
but...
to kill more Jedi, but they won't come over here, because I've got this weird barrier thing set up.
And now I'm being talked into doing politics, and that bores me because I'm an anarchist. It's really weird that I'm creating a...
Why did I agree to this? and Gira's over here like, I'm why you agreed to this. And he's like, piss off.
But yeah, we talked about this, about Markion. But yeah, so...
Meanwhile,
Anyways, back to the comic. They, like...
and like
Crash is like, what do I do?
She's like, I don't know if I should shoot this guy or not.
But, Crix is like, wait, I could help you kill the man that caused everything.
Mm.
And
Crash
that's
is
when
like-
Crash is like,
Crash
wait
is
a
like-
minute.
Keep talking.
Yeah. And what makes this worse is that she promised everybody that killing Crix was the last.
Yeah.
Like, this was the one more job. This was
Yep,
this was the one more job. And now we're on a one more job after the one more job. It's the
can't
one
get
more, one
out.
more. It's the one more.
You can never get out.
So I think a lot of it though is because of Crash's trauma and that they are trying to like control what's going on, but you can't. And so yeah, so they decide to break Crix out.
Yep. I think this was what the hell are you doing, Crash? Like, what is this plan?
So apparently they do break Crix out.
They break Crix out.
And then they're like, everybody else is like, what are you doing?
Like,
and then
Rue-
Crash's girlfriend.
Rue, before like they leave, ignites the lightsaber and is like, Crash? No.
And Rue, Crash is like, Rue, turn off the lightsaber.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
And then Crash's girlfriend is like, hey, you said this would be the last job. And then Crash runs off to go cry.
Yep.
Because they realize that they possibly fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have another vision of their dream that they keep having. Except we see more of it, and we see, like... It's
Also,
this
there's
park
a
that
nice-
she grew up in.
There's like a nice tree.
It's
that-
like this park she grew up in, this tree that, like, was part of her childhood. That, and so she dreamed... This last one,
I
it
guess
shows it being...
Corellians fucking hate trees for...
Well,
some
this
reason.
last one is her letting it go and having it destroyed. And I think... Yeah, I think this is her going, I'm going to do this, even if it kills me.
I can get the sense that it was a dream, more like a memory.
Memory.
Yeah.
But she keeps dream because we do have the one where she's asleep and she has that dream. Actually, two of them where she wakes up from it.
One in the beginning and one at the end.
Well, one in the middle. Because she wakes up next to her girlfriend dreaming.
Oh yeah, there's that. That's...
Yeah, so I guess 3. So it is a dream. It's probably based off a memory because dreams like to play on that.
Yeah.
So it's like based on a memory, but I don't think this is a specific memory. I think she is like blending memories together plus her trauma, and it's creating this amalgamation of what we get. And we don't know what's gonna happen yet.
Yeah, I
until
don't know.
August. Until
Because
August, because there's a continuation and coming in
There's
August
a
of this storyline.
confusing thing that happened.
So we don't know if this plan will work. We will find out.
Yep.
In August, according to the end of this comic. I'm guessing we're getting a mini series or something related to it. Both of these are really good.
They are.
The art in Crash Landing is amazing. That alone, I'd recommend checking it out.
It's not my cup of tea, but it's not bad.
Getting to see some of our old friends and new friends and seeing what they look like and now after all this time, nice. I'd give the Tales of Enlightenment short a 9, and then the comic a 7. 7.5, if I'm generous.
Mhm.
It's DJO, so it's good writing.
I'll give the last story an 8. And Crash Landing's a bit weird to me. Some of the like
just because there's
writing
stuff that's
and
not
artistic
explained
choices.
yet. Yeah.
It's been a while, but I'm gonna give it a 6.
Okay. But yeah, that's it for this week. Next week, we do what I promised. We're gonna read The Living Force.
Yeah, you've been hyping this one up for a while.
It's John Jackson Miller, baby. I love myself some John Jackson Miller. And we even got a map with this one for where things take place. And so, here you go, Seth. Because I got the audiobook. So, as usual. And so, yeah, that's next week. We're going to talk about The Living Force. So, thank you all for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Be sure to check out our Patreon, which is linked down below. Where you can become our, where you can watch our content before it's released publicly on YouTube, including this podcast. I'm gonna start having those pop up early for viewers. So I'm probably actually not gonna do too much editing on this one. I'm probably gonna make sure it's up there pretty soon after recording. And also be sure to check out the Discord, become a part of our community.
Yeah.
As far as patrons, let's shout out to Jennifer Brantley, by the way.
Yep. Thank you.
But our Discord community is also open. It's linked down below. It's a good way to join up and be part of the talks as we do things. Sometimes I'll put what we're reading in there, so that way people have access to it if you might not be able to get it. Because I do pay for these, and so therefore, you know, I make sure that we're on the up and up, that they're getting their money. But I also want to make sure, like, because I know books are expensive. Books are expensive, and it's hard to get in. Like, it's hard to make Star Wars accessible in that part of the fandom. So I try to make it accessible. Also, while we're on break, once we get back to it, that's how you can listen to our D&D games when we're playing them.
Oh, boy.
And boy, have I left both campaigns off somewhere. I think the Acquisitions one has the bigger hurdle.
They have a big hurdle, but, like...
Y'all are not in great shape either.
No. I'd say with the last one for Grim Hollow, it's a thing of like, oh, these are the heroes of this story, huh?
Yeah, and then we'll be starting a third campaign once we come back, because I got talked into starting a third game. So we'll have a third campaign going when we get back, and that will be just starting. So nobody's missed anything yet on that one. So if you want to join the Discord, that's a way to hang it. That's how you can catch up on those when that happens. And then I've also been doing hangout days. Thursdays have kind of become hangout day, where me and my friend Britt, we kind of just watch movies, talk, and shows. And lately, it's been I got her to start playing Baldur's Gate 1 with me. So we are still level 1.
It's okay. Pretty sure that for the other games you're in for Baldur's Gate 1, you still level 1 there too.
Yeah, we're dying more though, because there's only really the 2 of us. Whereas with the one with you and Drew, there's 3 people at least who can kind of command the characters.
I didn't want to like finish that up.
But... I know, we gotta just find time.
Yeah,
it's finding time. Yeah, so all that stuff's there. Be sure to check out the Twitch, because I'm gonna and Kick and Facebook, because I'm getting back to regularly doing Monday streams. We're finally gonna finish Mass Effect 3 on the next stream for Monday. So Twitch and Kick, it's Escape Reality Films. Facebook, it's Caleb.Lockwood. I'm also on TikTok. I've been doing a few more TikToks lately. In fact, I talked about Outlaws when we got the announcement. I was like, oh.
Yeah, I saw you talked about the Eclipse as well.
Yeah, I talked about the lack of Eclipse, as well as the fact that I started my Grand Theft Auto Vice City stories stream, which was this last Monday. So if you want to watch that, there's only one part, so you'll haven't missed much. On YouTube, you can watch the VOD. Trying to think if there's anywhere else that I'm on. I think, oh yeah, Twitter, Escape Reality 94, Instagram and Threads. It's also Caleb.Lockwood, like Facebook, because that's all under meta.
Mhm.
So, same username for those. That's everything for me. Going back to D&D though, we have.
Yes.
Is there anything going on with that game?
Oh,
A lot.
it's a bit.
It's a
The
bit.
Person, I haven't been able to make any of the games in a bit, but I've listened to the recordings. The lady I'm supposed to make sure is dead is back in the material plane. Meanwhile, our underground team is having some problems.
Remind them what this is for, by the way, because it's been a minute.
Trials of Nebu.
Yeah.
Every Sunday from 5 to 7 Central Standard Time on YouTube at the Steam Dungeon.
Yep.
Boy, oh boy, things are going well for them.
All right. So that's more D&D for the nerds out
Yeah.
there like us.
Meanwhile, the city guard, where all of the party is in the same city now.
Hey, everybody's united finally.
Not quite.
Oh, well,
Some of us are up top side killing undead sand creatures.
at least you're in the same city.
Yeah.
Close enough.
Close enough.
It counts.
While we're up there doing that, down team has to stop whatever ritual thing. Otherwise, more keep coming up top.
All right. So, 5 to 7 Central Standard Time.
Mhm. Every Sunday on YouTube at the Steam Dungeon.
Trials
Name
of
of
Nebu.
the campaign, Trials of Nebu.
All right, and I think that's everything. So we'll see you all next week for the Living Force. Once again, it'll be pre-recorded, but it'll still come out the Saturday that y'all are used to. And I've spoken.
Later. Be safe.